All right, people on back again. But you know, we always think backwards a lot of times. Or one of the biggest issues I see with us as human beings this day and age is when we was growing up, we only had this and that. So we don't want our kids to follow in our footsteps, so we try to get them more and more. And we're just teaching them to be worse than us. I remember growing up, what your mama cooked, that's what you ate. It wasn't no, what you want today, Houston? It was 7 of us. My mom didn't walk around, Houston, what you want for dinner? Jason, what you want? Vic, what you want? Leon, what you want? Bernice, what you want? Melissa, what you want? Lisa, what you want? It was, this is what I'm cooking, and this is what you're gonna eat. But we so teaching our kids these messed up ways, people. God to provide a meal for us. We go over somebody's house. Oh, my son don't really eat that. I just feed him when I get home. Look how stupid we are. Because we didn't train our kids that way. We didn't train them to, it's not what you need, it's what you want. I work in the moving industry. And sometimes I go to work with just a little money. Just a little. Enough. I'm almost at payday. I live paycheck to paycheck. I don't care what nobody says. I ain't got no bank account flowing with no money. And I'm okay with that sometimes. Because sometimes I'm like, wish I just had a little bit, you know. But I remember a few years ago when I first started working back for the company I work for now. We went on a job and nobody had any money. And it was hot. It's one of the hottest days of the summer that year. And it wasn't a big load we had, probably about 8,000 pounds. If anybody know about moving, 8,000 pounds ain't really a lot when you can get a house that got like 20,000 pounds worth of furniture in it. 8,000 pounds is like the norm for a house. And we just unloading and man, I felt like I was about to die. And it's like the customer was like, y'all thirsty? And I'm like, yeah, she was like, all I got is coconut water. And I was like, dehydrated. I feel I was gonna pass out. And she was like, all I got is coconut water. And none of us really like coconut water. But you know what we did? We drank that coconut water. And you know what that coconut water did? Gave us exactly what we needed. You see, God is a present help in time of need. Sometimes he works through people. But we just gotta be content. You know, sometimes I'll prepare a meal, like I'm gonna take this to work. And I get to work, and somebody already got a meal for me. We always try to think ahead of everything. Like this morning that's why I stopped to get breakfast. The main reason I stopped and get breakfast because I work in the office. It's not all the time, but I work in the office and everybody else goes, so I can't really leave. I'm stuck there. So just in case I do. But there've been plenty of times I had to stop to get breakfast and somebody else brought me something already. You know, we really listen to that small, still voice, and we really lean not on our own understanding, and all our ways acknowledge the Lord, and he'll direct our paths. Everything be lined up. I'm not saying he's not going to line you up to go to the grocery store and get some food. We're going to let you get exactly what you need to get. It's when selfishness and all that come into play is when God gets upset with us. And then the thing, I'm going to tell you what the New Testament says. God gets so upset with us so long, he'll give you a reprobate mind. He'll allow you to do what you want to do. Just like homosexuality or adultery or lying. And people will keep doing it. And God keep trying to tell you no. And then you start thinking, well, God must be okay with what I do or my lifestyle. He allowed me to do it. That's a terrible thing, to get a reprobate mind, to go against his commands and go against his words and be like, I'm good. I know I'm making it to heaven. You know, even though I love a man just like I love a woman, I'm going to go to heaven. No, you got a reprobate mind. The wages of sin is death, and there's an eternal death. And an eternal death is not even a death. It's an eternal hellfire, eternal torment. There's things worse than death. And that's one of them. That's the worst death you can ever get. That ain't even a death. Think about these people. I'm sure they thought, when they got all this meat and quail from the Lord, like, shoot, boy, you see that? God does answer prayers. He sure gave it to them. But you know what destroyed them mostly is their own lust. He said some people ate so much that came out their nostrils. And then right after that, the fire of the Lord burned them up. Think about all those people that God said, I did this to prove them. You know, when we give our life over to Jesus Christ, we start going through a phase of approval. Not by man, God's approval. I believe every man and woman in this earth, if you say you God's, you got to make sure you his. Me and my wife were talking this morning. Let's say, you got to think about what type of people he said will not inherit the kingdom of God. It's a laundry list. If we die in that way, even though Jesus died for our sins, why would a just God let certain people with certain qualities, sin natures, come into the kingdom of heaven to taint it? Think about the children of Egypt the whole time in the wilderness. They complained and murmured and bitched so much. It was like, you know what? None of this generation is going to make it. But your kids will. None of y'all, but your kids will. Even Moses, God's faithful servant. But you can't say nothing. Moses was one of the first of his kind. But he said, you will see the promised land, but you won't enter. That's a sign. Even some of the elect won't inherit the kingdom of God because of disobedience. Simple commandment to Moses. Speak to the rock, Moses. All right. Knock, knock. He smoked the rock. Very simple instructions. And he was in tune with God's voice. God was very specific with what he told him to do. And guess what? Like I said earlier, God is very specific in what he wants you to do for your life. Sometimes be quiet. Sometimes speak. Sometimes take a left turn instead of a right turn. You know, I got a song and I bring this up all the time. Teach us to walk like you, talk like you, say the things you do, till we can't see ourselves no more. Only way we're gonna not see ourselves if we surrender to God's complete and total absolute will for our lives. And that's the starting point. One thing God does is move selfishly. I told you, when I first found God, another thing I thought, I was thinking the American dream. I found God, I was like, whoa, I'm finna get rich. I'm finna get some money. I'm finna get the house I wanted to. I'm finna get the dog I wanted, the cat. I'm finna get everything, the furniture I want. I'm finna be living a life. Boy, I found God. And you know what the first thing started happening in my life? Being stripped naked. If you understand what I'm saying. I was in a house when I found God. Lost that house. I was buying it. Lost it. Got married. Divorced. So many things started happening. Had to move from where I was married at to another town. Then I came back here. Went through more hell and high water. Steadily being stripped down. Steadily being stripped to the bone. You don't need all this. One thing I realized about downsizing, you realize, what do I want all this junk for? You see it all the time. And I bring this up all the time. People will pray for, Lord, just give me a house with a pool, with an outdoor grill, a nice sized yard, 4-bedroom, 2 baths, a den, a garage, a man cave. Then you get all that stuff. And then along comes lust. Hey, let's go out of town and go on a vacation. Let's go. They got a pool there. They got all kind of different types of food that we couldn't cook on our own. And we think that's fun. And the older I get, the more I realize I like the simplest foods known to man. And then when I go out to eat, I be like, man, I could have did without this. But think about the coming age. Something I said a few seconds ago, or a few minutes ago in the other video. You ain't gonna be able to go to McDonald's. You ain't gonna be able to go to Burger King, Whataburger, In-N-Out Burger, Checkers, Church's Chicken, KFC, Popeyes. As a true believer, there's gonna come a time when you won't be able to eat out. Now think about if God is prepping you to trust in him. And he's taking you away from the world. You're not gonna be wanting to go to Disneyland. Oh, y'all ain't hearing me. This is gonna go over a lot of y'all head. Styx River water. You're gonna start thinking about self-sustainability through God. God is my provider. All that stuff gonna start falling off. And I know in the meantime, every time you don't want to cook, and I ain't saying going out to eat and doing all that stuff is not something you should do as a Christian. I'm gonna say this. Enjoy it while it lasts. And don't get too accustomed to it. Learn to cook. Learn to do things without the world. But the thing is, you're gonna have to do that. I just imagine if I see how he fed them. Let's go back to Elijah. Elijah was going through heavy-duty spiritual warfare with that woman Jezebel. And he just rained down fire on a bunch of false prophets and burnt them up. And then here comes Jezebel. If I don't make Elijah like those prophets by the morning, you understand? And Elijah was like, man, I'm tired of this joint. I'm out of here. I don't think it had nothing to do with fear. It just gets so tiresome sometimes when you're doing the work of the Lord and you know you are. But it's like one battle over, here come another. Like, golly, is it ever going to end? No. It's never going to end. Within your patient's best possession, it's never going to end until you go to rest, till you go to sleep. As long as you walk in this earth, there's going to be temptation you're going to have to run from. There's going to have the commandments you're going to have to follow with the help of God as long as you walk in this world. You know, I'm a man just like any other man. It's not even, sometimes I go to a store, I'm not expecting to see a woman with tights on, with no underwear, but I see her, and I'm like, God, before you even thought about it, you, oh, they're being real. You got to pray for stuff like that, because it's everywhere. Women will try you. If you're a man, men will try you this day and age. And if you're a woman, woman will try you. You got to resist the devil, he'll flee from you. And I always tell people that the first thing, we always, like when we say the Lord's Prayer, we say, Lord, deliver us from evil. And the first thing we start looking at is everybody else. It's not what goes into a man that defiles man, what comes out of man. The first evil need to get out is the evil that's within ourselves. The cleansing process starts from in. You must first pull or allow God to pull the plank out of your own eye before you can pull the speck out of your brother's eye. Let's imagine Moses. Moses like, man, you can take me now. I'm so tired of these folks. I'm so tired of these folks. And if you read the story of Moses and his life, he was kind of torn. He loved the people, but he loved God also. But he was kind of a people pleaser too, if you pay attention. When the people start murmuring, here come him. I always loved the story when he was coming down from, when he was up there getting the 10 Commandments. And the Lord was like, hey, Moses, your people acting up. they acting real crazy down there. I'm about to destroy them. You're like, no, Lord, don't destroy them. And I know that's human nature. If you're a good person, you don't want nobody to die in their sins. You don't. Because God's wrath was waxed hot. And Moses was like, hey, man, don't. They're going to say, well, you brought them out here just to destroy them. You're like, just get down there, man. On the way down, him and Joshua was like, look like they having a pot on our face. You're like, no, man, this ain't right, boy. And then Moses waxed hot. Because of what they were doing. You see, sometimes you're going to wax hot. Not because, and angry, not because of you, because of God working through you. Yeah, there's a time to speak and a time to be silent. And sometimes when God is using you, He's going to use you to bring forth the wrath of God through your words or through your actions. But that's how you want to be in tune with God. I'm hungry when you say I am. Fast when you say to fast. Walk when you won't say to walk. And it starts with contentment. But like I said, we live in a world more and more and more. Christmas coming up. Everybody's trying to break their necks to make sure they get putting layaways on. You don't even know if you're going to be here tomorrow. But you're putting a layaway up. You're putting a layaway up for your kids. How you know you're going to be here? We shouldn't be worried about such things. If God is an on-time God, that should be our mindset. Now, like, I want this, I want that, I want that, I want that, I want that. I remember when I first went through my divorce, when I was staying in my own house for years, and I started staying with my sister. And I couldn't just walk in the refrigerator and eat what I wanted to eat. To me, that's respectful. I know we live in an age now, like, whatever mine is yours. There's no respect. People just go in your house and just take stuff out. That's not right. But you know, it taught me, like, okay, I had to wait. I didn't have a job. All I had was the clothes on my back that I had and the stuff that I brought with me to my sister's house. I couldn't just go in the refrigerator and just open up snacks and eat up all the food. I had to wait. And sometimes that's what happened when we start bringing money in. Think about how much stuff we throw away. We'll cook a lot of food and then it'll be in the refrigerator called leftovers. And then we want to eat the leftovers, we just throw them in the trash can. Refrigerators are a blessing and a curse. You know, back in the day, you ain't had no refrigerator. You see, technology is good and bad. Like, you ever watch Doomsday Preppers? They're not trusting in God. I can't say that. Because at the same time, when famine was in the land, God had Joseph build a storehouse. So God works in different ways. Sorry about that. He might have some people to store up stuff, maybe. But at the same time, they're still, most of those people who do that are dependent on themselves. Think about the people that tried to save manna to the next day and they rotted. People can store up all these goods and all this stuff in their house trying to prepare for the times to come, and something happened and all that food that they just stored is gone. Like the parable of the rich man, I've did a lot of stuff, man. I got a lot of stuff. Let me build a bigger storehouse to store all my goods. And he said, the day your soul will be required of you, then whose goods will these be? We love trying to store up things for tomorrow. 401k. I think from a spiritual perspective. Can I tell y'all something, or y'all not beat me up? I haven't filed taxes in about 10 years. 10 years. I remember years ago, I used to pray to God. I'm like, man, it's like every year you go through the same motions. You get the income tax check. You feel like you finna get back on out the hole. And I was like, I'm tired of depending on the government. Like, it don't help me. I was like, I got to trust the Lord. And I don't get a tax check every year. I don't get that lump sum. And it's like, even every time I try to start back, something go wrong. So after so long, I'm like, forget it. And I be telling people, they're like, man, the government gonna catch up with you. Let them. I serve God. Not that I despise government, but something's changing in me. I'm trying to be dependent less on the system and more on the creator. But that's how we are. 401k, you store up. How many people that got their 401k stolen? You remember Bernie Madoff? People put all this money into this company and then he stole everything. And they never got none of it back. But that's how we are as human beings. We want to store up, store up, store up, store up. It's not teaching trust in the Lord. I'm guilty as charged too. Like I said, I got a Nintendo Switch and the Xbox, the new one. I don't even play it, but I wanted it so bad. And my whole concept was like, man, kids might come over here and want to play video games and stuff. And I don't ever have too many people over my house. It's weird, man, how the world is, though. But I'm learning, and you're going to be learning, too. But like I said, we focus too much on what we want. And I believe God will let us enjoy these things eventually. Enjoy. Not lust after them. Think about something quail and manna destroyed some people. You got people with eating disorders. That's why I don't look at alcohol, drugs, or nothing the same, because there are many kind, all the same, because there's all kind of types of addictions. That's why I hate when pastors get up there, but like, drugs are running rapid in the town. Alcohol. It looked like food too, because you about 345 pounds in the pulpit. How about food? How about that right there? How about you talk about that? How about you talk about you got a cup of Starbucks every 20 minutes? You see, God looks at the heart. That's what I understand by God looking at the hearts. But I ain't want to give you no real crazy this Sabbath Eve. But we got to learn to trust in God more and be content with what he give us. Be content with what he give us. And like I said, being through a divorce, man, it taught me so much things. Like my ex-wife mad at me. I can't send money when I need to, according to her. And then, you a piece of crap, Dad. You this and that. I'm like, God, what you want me to do? Nothing. Okay. All right, Lord. Today, do it today. It's like, that's how I try to be in tune with God. Like, what do you want me to do? I'm being real with you. When I go to the grocery store, what should I get, Lord? What I need to get out of here? What you want me to do today? Sometimes I spend about 20 minutes outside. What do you want me to do? Especially on the Sabbath day. Like, what do you want me to do? That's what, when you develop your personal relationship with God, you want to have his guidance continually. Pray without ceasing. That's what it means. Personal relationship. What you want me to do, Lord? What you want me to say? And sometimes we fall short. We start thinking about what we want. And then it start coming to a complaining thing. Because I think it's two types of ways to talk to God. Pray and just get some stuff off your chest. But be careful about the complaining, people. God will give you exactly what you're complaining about, and it'll destroy you. Have a blessed day. Happy Sabbath Eve. If you haven't accepted Jesus Christ in your life, I advise you to do so. Start the process. Be blessed, people.